Hello and welcome to Monster Hunter Wilds. This is the start of something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, and that is not game reviews, I guess, but my thoughts on games. Here's the thing, I love to talk. I love to talk about games, talk about things that I'm interested in, and I wanted to start turning that into a video format for you guys to watch as well. Because I like giving out my thoughts and I like hearing thoughts back about like what you thought about games or what you thought about your favorite food. I don't know. But today's first game is gonna be Monster Hunter Wilds. I want to talk to you about how I feel about this game, and I love this game. But there's a couple of tiny flaws, not entirely flaws, just things that I don't like about the game. But I want to do this with a bunch of games that I have. I have notes on my phone that has every single game that I've played since a year ago when I started making a deal with myself that I'm not gonna have unfinished games anymore. I'm gonna play a game from start to finish. Like whether it's the story, like this game that has a story but it's also live service, so I'll keep playing it afterwards, or it's Last of Us Part 2, which is my favorite game ever made, that is like just the story. I want to make a video about it and just talk my way through it and talk to you guys about how I think about the game. And yeah, that's pretty much the premise of what I want to do here and what the plan is for the future, I guess, future uploads of whatever this is. But today we're talking about Monster Hunter Wilds. This game came out a couple weeks ago at this point, a potential target. This game has come out a couple weeks ago, and I thoroughly enjoy this game. I've beaten the low rank story, and I've beaten the high rank story. So I've done all the story that I can do, and I've done, obviously you can see I still have a bunch of, where is it? Oh, jeez. My friends get on me about this. I have a horrible memory on things of, like, remembering where things are or what things, like, take to make. But, this is it. I was looking at it the whole time. I have a bunch of side quests to do, obviously. But I ran through the entirety of this story in probably 20 to 30 hours. I blew through it. It took me maybe 2 weeks to get to the point where I'm at now. And I've made a ton of progress today as well, where it's, you can have layered armor, so you can make armor look whatever you want. I know I spelled Arkveld wrong, don't talk on it. But, like, I have a bunch of different, armors. This doesn't change my stats, this is just, like, how I look. And, I thoroughly enjoyed getting all these. The only one that I did not like is the Gormagala. My goodness, that is a rough fight. I'm gonna be honest. That is not a very fun fight to do. But talking about that as well is none of the fights except Gormagala, just because I think I just got hit so much and it hits for so hard. But none of the fights are like miserable, you know? None of them are like, oh, I gotta go fight this. Until, obviously what I'm saying, until you get to Jindahad. Or, nope, sorry, Gormagala. I'm gonna do that a lot in this video if you don't notice. I am going to stutter over everything. Talking about the story, I'm gonna be honest, this is horrible on my part. I didn't pay too much attention to the story. Obviously you have, like, the outline of trying to just find Nata's home, and then finding the White Wraith, which is the Arkveld. And, like, you have to kill a bunch of monsters to get there. There's a whole story on with it. I didn't pay too much attention to it, which that is my bad. I definitely should have, because I've heard that it's not horrible. I was just kind of in the mindset of, oh, I want to fight big monsters and go and, like, collect all these armor sets and all these cool weapons. This is my first Monster Hunter game. And I say this, and I'm really glad I did. I almost didn't buy this game, because Monster Hunter in the past, what I've seen is it's a bunch of, like, menus and a bunch of stuff that I can even, like, show you here. It's a bunch of, like, this, and then I gotta, like, you gotta look at all of the resistances and all the, like what's best for fighting stuff, and that almost seemed too much for me. It seemed like a lot of me. It's gonna be a lot of me learning, but I had a bunch of friends that played Monster Hunter before and love it, so they definitely carried me through the rough parts in this game. Rough parts being like telling me what to do when I have a pop-up camp down in the bottom right. You can put down a pop-up camp, or cooking a meal, or hot drinks and cool drinks, all the little like nitty-gritty cracks of what I had to do in the game to make it easier, and also like different monsters being weak to different things, and saving quests, like saving investigations, saving all these, like doing optional quests for things. They definitely helped me a lot, and I really do appreciate them for that. But we can move on to the combat. I love the combat in this game. I will admit, I started the game and it almost made me quit. I started with the greatsword. I hated the greatsword. It was too slow for me. It did a lot of damage. And then I went to the longsword, and that didn't entirely feel right either. I just couldn't really get the combos down, and I didn't really enjoy getting just kind of beat up and trying to learn the buttons and the combos. The combo isn't too complicated for a longsword, so that helped a little bit. And then I was shown the hammer. I love the hammer. These are dual blades on my back. But this is my favorite weapon in this game. It is just it's so fun to just hit things with a giant hammer and be able to just like feel the weight of the weapon, if that makes sense. Just be able to like slam it down, and when there's wounds, you can do a focus move and hit the wounds, and it just feels like you're doing a bunch of damage. And then I was most recently shown the dual blades, which is what I have now, paralysis dual blades. And these are so much fun as well. The fact of element damage... Okay, get in the way, Sacred. The fact of element damage of, like, paralysis, that it freezes them a little bit, or blast, it does, like, an explosion. I really enjoy that part of the game as well. The fact that you can kind of build into... This is the exact opposite of what I said earlier, but because I was shown everything, I like being able to make builds now that I understand a little more. I like being able to make different, like if you go over here, like I showed you, different armor sets. That doesn't change my stats, just change the look. I enjoy the fact that even I can go in here and make loadouts for like everything. I have a Jindahad, a Black Flame, water and ice resistance. Guardian Arcveld armor is horrible for dragon, so I have yes fire, and then yes dragon but no fire because I'd get smacked. But I feel like that stuff, because it was shown to me, I enjoyed it a whole lot more, and it gave me kind of not the strength to move on, but the like perseverance to move on. But yeah, going into like the menus, sometimes they can be a little confusing. Trying to like get around and figure out what you're trying to do. It's a little troublesome sometimes. And I used to have the biggest beef because on some quests it's like it's that when you go in here and it's optional quest and you do this and you see the little yellow thing in the top corner, that's for a quest, and when you finish that,
I'll be waiting here.
you usually have to report to someone. For the longest time, it doesn't show you, like in the top left corner of this, whether the quest is here or not. If you see here, it'll show you this with a little check mark. I didn't see that until like 2 or 3 days ago, and that used to be my biggest gripe with this game. I hated that I couldn't easily find who to report to. And there's also a thing like, yes, I should remember where they are, but again, I got bad memory. I'm not doing that. So it was always really upsetting for me to, let me just save this real quick. It was really upsetting for me to try to figure out where these things were or where to report to because it gave you XP. But then I found that and that literally swiped that all away. Talking about the negatives is in high rank. So low rank, I don't know what it goes to, maybe HR 10 or 15. And then high rank is that to HR 40, which is hunter rank. So if you could see it in the top right, HR, I'm HR 85. I'm way past any requirements or anything. I have everything unlocked that I need to. Until I get to 100, then I have, like, I think the final stuff unlocked. But my issue was in high rank, and I understand it was a way to kind of get you leveled up and kind of get you ready for the next part of the story. But there's like an HR requirement that you need to do. And I didn't entirely enjoy that, just because it was the fact of, I don't like having a story mission, a major story mission, and then having to raise my HR again. It kind of takes out of the, like, experience, the immersion, I should say. It doesn't, like, kill the game. It's just a little annoying that you go from having like a major fight and then having to worry about, oh, I gotta go do more quests. Now, I will say it did help me unlock other things for my Palico, as well as like other things that I could unlock. Because there's stuff here at Palico where you can unlock like a res for it, and that's super helpful. It so like you have a chance that if you die, it can res you on the floor, which is very, very nice. And you unlock like a little airship for him too. That's pretty cute. But you can also get, I think, like better heals for him. It's super helpful to do those things, so maybe I shouldn't be too hard on that. But I just didn't enjoy the fact that I had to do that 80 times and then just go through having to wait for the next part of the story. Now, this is kind of showing me the combat that I just fell in love with. I'm using the dual blades, not the hammer. But this is just so fun, especially with the dual blades focus strike, that you can hit it and you basically, if you've watched Attack on Titan, you basically just Levi Ackerman the fuck out of him. You just do a spinning attack. I'll show you right here. Hang on, I'll do an example. Oh, I missed. Hang on, let me get it shown. There you go. You do that and then you go, woo, and then just do that, spinning across their whole body. Now, when it's the Jindahad, which is a huge giant ice dragon, you do it all down his body for like 5 seconds. It's super cool. I won't show you the Jindahad today. I apologize. But, that's just a super cool move. I think all the focus strikes have their perks for them. Obviously, they have their perks, but they all look cool in their own way. And it's super enjoyable to, like, be able to perform them, have them feel satisfying, have them feel like, oh shoot, I'm doing a bunch of damage, and this is really just beating the piss out of them. Like, dual blades are fast and nimble. You got the hammer that's not super slow, but it's slower and does damage, and then like the great sword is super slow and like a high amount of damage. One of my friends just picked that up today, actually. But they have so many different weapon types, and they have like giant, I don't even know what it's called, like bowguns. I think heavy bowguns. I don't even know how those work. Those are all a whole different ball game. But there's so many satisfying things about this game. It's just, I just love it. There's points that I get hit. This is just a me personal thing. And all this is in my opinion. If you don't like this game, you don't like this game. If you don't enjoy how the game feels, you don't enjoy the game. That's perfectly fine. To each their own. But another thing I want to talk about as well is the soundtrack in this game. Oh my goodness. It's weird to say, but the soundtrack almost feels like it was taken from other games, which isn't a bad thing. I really enjoyed it. There's soundtracks that make me feel like I'm in Star Wars. There's soundtracks that make me feel like I'm in Shadow of the Colossus. It's incredible. Just the different songs with each monster. I enjoy every single one of them. There's not one of them that's a miss. And also there's not one monster design that's a miss. The amount of monsters in this game and the amount of variety is absurd. It's crazy. Everything in here, like, there's not a miss, except there is one exception. Congalala is freaking dumb, alright? I'm sorry. I don't enjoy Congalala. It's just a monkey that farts and pukes. I don't enjoy it. But everything else in this is a hit. Balahara, like Ajarakan, I had this trend with friends and I'm like, oh yeah, this is my favorite monster. Oh yeah, this is my favorite monster. I don't know if I could give you a top 10 because I love everything in here so much. Like, Gormagala's a pain to fight. It looks so cool. Like, Blaganga, they're cool too. You got Gravios. And most of the armor sets are really cool as well. They do a great job with just making it look good. Everything looks great in this game. Every monster, at least. Like, from the weakest to the strongest. Like, it's all just a hit. It's all so fun to just go in and see all of the different monsters and all the different varieties. And the open world. This whole thing, these different worlds are crazy. My favorite's the Oil Bowl Basin. I'll show you. Don't worry, I'll show you. And I think there's points on the map where you can transition into the next area, which is also super, super cool how they thought that through. And how they kind of turned everything, like chained everything together. Super awesome how they did that. And I heard there was performance issues on PC. On console, it's great. There hasn't been frame drops. There hasn't been, like in the Elden Ring DLC, there were points where there were frame drops because there's so many particles on the screen, so it would drop in performance. Not Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter does a great job with not having frame drops, unless I think it's Windward Plains. If you fast travel, I think this is the only point in the game for me that I get frame drops. And we'll see if it happens here. No, it didn't. Now I look dumb. But usually the game is phenomenal. It's there's been an issue with games recently of not being optimized. And this one has the problem on PC, which is sad to see, but at least on console, on PlayStation 5, what I play it on, it works just fine. There hasn't been any issues where I've crashed. There hasn't been any issues where I can't play a game. There's points that the monsters, like, trap me in a corner, but that's just because the monsters are so big and sometimes you can't roll through them, so sometimes it's hard to get through that. And then you have points where the hitboxes aren't great, but I feel like that's just kind of I don't know how to explain it, but the hitboxes aren't phenomenal in this game. Sometimes you can be right on the money and then not hit it, and sometimes you can be a couple meters away from the attack and get hit by it. It's very inconsistent, which is not phenomenal. It's not very fun to play when you're getting hit by just things that you shouldn't be getting hit by. But there's also, for some reason in my head, every time I get hit by a monster, it just feels horrible. I get a little too upset by it. But other than that, it's not really an issue. I love this game. What I gave Tempered Arcveld discovered my thing. What I gave this game on my little notes thing for a personal rating. I gave it a 9 out of 10. I love this game. I've put 60 hours in it, and it's I don't know how long this game's been out. This is probably the most I've played a new game ever. Ever. Now, Destiny 2 is my most played game, just because me and my friends have done so much stuff in that over the years. But I feel like this is one of those games that it's also live service. I'm not a huge fan of live service, but if they do it right here, it'll be great. This will be a phenomenal game. But yeah, that's what I rated it. That's kind of the bullet points that I kind of set under it. I thoroughly enjoyed the game. Combat is great. The areas are great. The weather is super fun. Like, dynamic weather, like right now, it's not clear, but you can have sunny as well. Or if you're in the forest, it could be rainstorm. Or you can have, like, thunderstorms here as well that bring out certain monsters more common, which is a nice little detail for it as well. And I think... Man, I don't know how many hours I'm going to put in this game, but I'm thoroughly enjoying it right now. They're talking about adding a new monster every couple months or something like that, so that'll be fun to receive every time, and I'll be happy. I will be overjoyed to fight those monsters within the next coming however long it takes to, like, pump those out. I hope you enjoyed a little sneak peek into how I think about, like, games and how I play. This will be the first of many. Every time I finish a new game, I think I'm gonna do a video on it. Right now I'm playing Death Stranding. It only says I'm 11% in, which I'm not that far. But I think after every game, I want to do one of these videos and just kind of go through my thoughts about it, give it the rating, and then and hopefully you guys enjoyed. And I will see you guys in the next game. Goodbye.